What's up, my fellow Dragodons? Dreadclaw here. Today we're finally back with a new Monster Hunter video. I've been meaning to make videos about Monster Hunter Wilds ever since the new trailers dropped, but just never really found the time to make them. But now I've finally gotten the chance to play the game. Now is the perfect time. Whenever a new trailer drops for Monster Hunter Wilds, it gets me even more excited for the full game. I haven't felt this excited for a game since Monster Hunter Stories 2, Winds of Ruin, and after playing the beta, it only got me more excited for the final product next year. Now, while I am excited for the game, I will be giving you the good, the bad, and some of my concerns, at least regarding the PC release of the game, but keep in mind, this was a beta, so I'm sure the final product will be much different. And they have come out to say that the current build of Monster Hunter Wilds, that's different from the beta, is definitely a much more better state and condition. And this goes into the thing I wanted to talk about with the PC version. Because something we all feared with Monster Hunter Wilds after the release of Dragon's Dogma 2 earlier this year was how bad the performance will be for Monster Hunter Wilds. And I can confirm, unless you have something like a 360 or one of the 4000 40XX graphics cards, you're going to have a rough time with the PC version of Wilds. Granted, I have a 3060, I didn't experience much issues, aside from the polygon-looking N64 models that get affected with the VRAM, but it was only with the human NPCs. None of the monsters, which I wish I could experience that, but thankfully with Monster Hunter World's modders, you can experience that, which I would highly recommend for people that have Monster Hunter World on PC. Experience the one of the best mods to come out of the game in recent years, I will say. And some long loading times. There was, of course, like, some dips in frame rate. My computer did get a bit hot, but I haven't recently cleaned it out, so it could have been that as well. I will say this again, this was a beta, and we still got 3 months till the game releases, so I'm sure by the time Wilds comes out, Capcom and the Monster Hunter team will iron out the bugs and optimization issues on the PC side of things. Meanwhile, it ran fine on the PS5 from my experience. Granted, it was only 30 FPS, but I'll still take a stable 30 FPS over an unstable 60 for FPS. I even say this with the Paper Mario remake that came out this year. It's like, it sucks that it's not at 60, because granted, I would want the 60 frames over 30, but at the same time, it's not a big deal for someone like me, because I will always take a more stable 30 over the choppy, rough-looking 60 FPS. But if I could get the 60, it would be nice. And another thing as well, you gotta keep in mind, it is the Monster Hunter team. It's one of the few developers that actually listens to feedback from the community. Any complaints, any issues, especially if World or even Rise or Sunbreak, they always listen to feedback. Make them the more trustworthy, and while I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, unlike some developers, but I'll probably still just play Wilds on PS5 till I upgrade my rig sometime next year. Now to get into the good. Is this game any good? Is it actually worth the hype? Oh, absolutely. The beta was so much fun. I just couldn't stop wanting to play it. Monster Hunter Wilds basically took what worked for World and Rise, but trimmed the fat and expanded upon it, while incorporating new mechanics that remind me a lot of Wild Hearts, in a good way, I will say. Stuff like the portable tents, now being able to cook meals on the go, but that's a subject for another time. But from what I played from the open beta, I absolutely loved all the changes, especially the changes to all 14 of the weapons' movesets. As much as I would have loved a new weapon, the new moves and combos make it feel fresh and new enough, especially for weapons like the hunting horn and the gunlance. And don't worry, my fellow Chargeblade mains, we are so back! The other big change being this game's new mechanic, the focus mode. Ever since Monster Hunter Tri, each installment had a gimmick or core mechanic. For Gen 3, it was underwater combat, followed by mounting for Generation 4. Hunter Arts in Generation's Ultimate, Clutch Claw and Slinger for Iceborne, Wire Bugs and Switch Skills for Sunbreak, and now Focus Mode being this game's mechanic. While it is a gimmick, unlike the Clutch Claw, Focus Mode does feel optional, and more so baked into the game as opposed to tenderizing, where it felt like it was just added for the sake of a new mechanic. That being said, you don't really need to use it, but I will say pulling off the focus mode strike with each weapon felt really satisfying when popping off wounds, and does help out Chargeblade users like me who misses the elemental discharge attacks. Not to mention, wounds also changed how mounting works this time around. In Wilds, no longer do you just have the option to spam the triangle button to your heart's content. You get the option to use a light attack, which lets you take a while to open up the wound, but you get to do a series of attacks, while the circle button, you have the heavy attack, which opens up wounds quicker, but at the cost of losing stamina depending on when you're using it, since it's got a longer animation. You also got the option to use a weapon attack, but I honestly couldn't really tell the difference with that, but it is how you do the finisher once the wound is showing. All you gotta do is press the R1 for PlayStation users, and Xbox users have to use right bumper, and you're able to do your weapon map finisher, just like every other Monster Hunter game. Now for my only complaint, and this wasn't something that didn't bother me until I used Hunting Horn. The monsters move away too often. Now this was the case of using Master Rank gear on a low rank or a high rank monster, which is normal, but in the beta we were only using low rank gear, and setting up the bubbles right before finding out the monster is leaving the area got really annoying, but thankfully, traps and barrel bombs are no longer that case. If you have experienced Monster Hunter Pass, you can feel that annoyance. But I feel like this was probably just a thing for the beta anyway. I'm sure the monsters won't move around as often on the map in the full release. And just like the rest of the Monster Hunter community, I am going through the Monster Hunter Wilds beta withdrawals. Can you release it again, Capcom? Just to hold this over until February of next year. Please. As well, it would be nice for, because I have heard like some people didn't get the chance to play it as well. So, it would be pretty nice. But, at least in the meantime, I still have games in my backlog I need to finish. I still also need to finish Monster Hunter Stories Remastered, Black Myth Wukong, so many games. So, I'm definitely good for a bit until February. But I generally look forward to play my most anticipated game of 2025. And I get to this time get to play it with some friends as well. Some people I met through, whether it's GU, Stories, World, or even Iceborne, or even Rise. It still is going to be a lot of fun hunting with them. As well, guys, if you've tried out the beta, what did you think? Did you experience any of those polygons? Because, man, I can't wait to hunt, to play the proper evolution of Monster Hunter next year. Hope you guys enjoy as well, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.